What we're watching Jalen Brunson do is pure magic of the basketball.
This man has become the greatest Knick of all time.
The man is a winner.
The heart of a champion, man.
In New York, Brunson is bigger than Jordan.
You know when this little man completely won me over mid-fourth quarter the other night, game 5? He attacks the alien in the lane and takes him all the way to the bucket and shields him, and he's left-handed and he shoots it right-handed up off the glass and makes it. And I'm like, what? You did that to that? It's impossible.
The two stars, Brunson off the bounce, gets inside, leans in, right-handed, he banks it home.
I'm just looking at the fourth quarter numbers. Jalen Brunson against the Spurs in 5 games made 19 of 37 shots. That's 51%. SGA in the 7 games in the fourth quarters made only 8 of 29 shots. That's 28%. Little Jalen does not flop. Little Jalen does not complain. Little Jalen was getting no calls in this whole series because this creature is the most overprotected player in the NBA. It went all the way to the flagrant that should have been called on the three-point shot where he slides his giant foot underneath.
Finishes Jalen Brunson down. Brunson hurt. Once again, landing area. The Knicks are furious. They thought there should have been a landing area foul.
He is the best player in the National Basketball Association right here, right now. I mean, he just showed you. He did it.
In New York, Brunson is bigger than Jordan to some people. It's only a couple people that could say they own a whole state or city or something. LeBron in Cleveland, Jordan, Kobe, Steph, Brunson. Everybody not 7 foot. And a guy that's 5'11", 6 feet coming through, destroying the NBA like he did and going up against somebody that's 7'5", that people makes the face of the league. And is he 6'5", 6'8", they would be saying he's next Michael Jordan right now.
The heart of a champion, man. He's won at every level. You don't learn how to win high school and college and not carry that over to the National Basketball Association. You just need the right situation, need the right people to believe in him. Every fourth quarter, put the team on his back and was like, I refuse to let us lose. And we've seen some of the greats in this game do that before. Close out game, 45 points. The rest of the team has 49. Yeah, that's what special sports moments are made of.
This is what we thought AI was going to do when AI went up against the Lakers. He's been the underdog. You know, nobody really respected. He took a pay cut for his team so they can go get better players, and look how it all came back to repay him. Becky Hammond's statement wasn't true at all.
Why would he pay attention to anything Becky Hammond has to say? Let's start there.
They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today, but they do have their dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small. If your best player is small, you're not winning. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash. You could go down the list.
I'm dead ass. Like, why would he pay attention to anything she has to say?
Yeah.
Like, who cares what Becky Hammond has to say about Jalen?
She was Pop's first assistant for
So I
a
don't
good
care.
while.
I could care less.
Lord, listen, what we're watching Jalen Brunson do is pure magic of the basketball. He doesn't have superpowers. He ain't the cut up. He ain't tall. He ain't nothing extraordinary, bro. You know what makes him stand out, bro? Not only his heart, but, man, his fundamentals. He got 7 different ways he can get to that fadeaway. He don't have a crazy cross. He ain't got a crazy raise, but, man, his weapons as sharp as you can have. He got 7, 8 weapons that is as sharp as you can have them. Listen, he making this shit look easy. You hear me? I'm watching him with like a savant. He got the same kind of off pace, on pace like AI. AI should come down and lower you, and then you was in some shit. You like, damn. You feel me? AI would come down like he was setting something up, like he calling the play. And next thing he reject. Jalen Brunson has a great balance of speed, strength, and all of it. Yeah. This is another level of performance, man. If this was anybody else, we'd be calling him Superman and having
He the best player in the playoffs?
Hell fucking yeah.
He is this generation's Patrick Ewing. Okay. He is the best player on the Knicks. He is, to me, the engine that makes that shit
He
go.
arguably already a top 5 Knick ever.
He is, bro. What he did last night will be why you remember him.
For more than 5 decades, New York Knicks fans waited for this moment. Seasons came and went. Legends wore the jersey, and countless championship dreams ended in heartbreak. Then, everything changed because one player refused to let history repeat itself. Jalen Brunson didn't just help the Knicks win their first NBA title in 53 years. He made the entire basketball world stop and take notice. From Hall of Famers to former rivals, everyone had something to say about his unforgettable finals run. Before we hear those incredible reactions, let me know where you're watching from, and now let's dive into the story. The celebration had barely started before the basketball world reached one conclusion. This wasn't just another championship run. It was the moment Jalen Brunson officially changed the history of the New York Knicks. A franchise that had spent 53 long years chasing another title finally had its hero, and almost overnight, former players, analysts, and NBA legends began sharing the same message. What Brunson had just accomplished wasn't ordinary. It was something people would remember for generations. One of the loudest voices praising Brunson was Stephen A. Smith, and considering how demanding New York fans can be, his reaction said everything. He called Brunson pure basketball magic, praising the way he consistently found impossible angles around defenders much bigger than him. The play everyone kept talking about came late in the finals, when Brunson attacked one of the league's tallest defenders in traffic. Instead of forcing a difficult shot, he adjusted his body in midair and finished with remarkable touch. It wasn't simply 2 points on the scoreboard. It was the kind of play that left experienced basketball minds asking the same question. How did he even do that? As highlight after highlight replayed across television and social media, another pattern became impossible to ignore. Whenever the fourth quarter arrived, Brunson seemed to become an entirely different player. While defenses tightened and pressure increased, he looked calmer than ever. Analysts pointed out that the biggest stars often separate themselves when everything is on the line, and Brunson kept answering every challenge with another clutch basket, another smart decision, and another moment that pushed New York closer to history. Former NBA players admired something even deeper than the scoring. They couldn't stop talking about how Brunson never searched for excuses. He wasn't arguing with referees after every possession. He wasn't flopping to draw fouls. Even after taking hard contact, he simply got back up and attacked again. That toughness reminded many veterans of an older era when players earned respect by responding through their performance instead of their complaints. To them, Brunson wasn't just winning games, he was winning respect from people who had spent their entire careers around greatness. Then came the performance that erased every remaining doubt. With the championship within reach, Brunson delivered one of the greatest closeout games in recent finals history, scoring 45 points while carrying the offense on his shoulders. Every big possession seemed to find the ball in his hands, and every answer the opposing defense tried was met with another clutch shot. By the final buzzer, there was no debate left about who deserved finals MVP. More importantly, there was no debate about who had become the face of basketball in New York. Still, as incredible as those performances were, some former players believed the numbers only told half the story. They argued Brunson possessed something that statistics could never fully explain, and the comparisons they started making would place him alongside some of basketball's most legendary closers. That conversation quickly shifted from what Brunson did to how he kept doing it. Plenty of players can score 40 points on a great night, but very few can make the biggest moments look almost routine. That's exactly what impressed so many former players. They weren't talking about flashy dunks or impossible athleticism. They were talking about discipline, footwork, patience, and a mindset that never seemed to crack under pressure. One analyst explained it perfectly. Brunson doesn't rely on speed that leaves defenders behind, or a vertical leap that belongs in a highlight reel. Instead, he wins with balance. Every move has a purpose. Every hesitation forces defenders to react just a split second too early. Before they realize what's happening, Brunson has already created enough space to finish another difficult shot. It's basketball at its simplest, yet almost nobody can stop it. That approach reminded several former stars of another undersized legend, Allen Iverson. Not because Brunson plays exactly the same way, but because both players understood how to control defenders without needing a physical advantage. Iverson attacked with explosive quickness. Brunson attacks with timing. He changes pace, uses his body as a shield, and keeps defenders guessing until the very last step. Those little details may not always appear on the stat sheet, but they're exactly why defenders struggle to stay in front of him. Others pointed to something even more important, his confidence. Brunson never lets one missed shot affect the next possession. Whether he's having the best game of his career or the toughest shooting night of the season, his body language stays almost identical. That calmness spreads throughout the entire team. When your best player believes every possession can change the game, everyone else starts believing it too. Championship teams are built on talent, but they're often carried by that kind of confidence. For years, basketball fans heard the same argument repeated over and over. A small guard can't be the best player on a championship team. History simply wasn't on their side. Names like Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, and John Stockton came close, but each story ended without a championship as the unquestioned leader. Brunson heard those same conversations, yet he never tried to answer them with interviews or social media posts. He answered them by holding the Larry O'Brien Trophy. If you're enjoying this breakdown and love hearing the stories behind basketball's biggest moments, make sure you subscribe because we've got plenty more NBA documentaries and player reactions coming your way. The reactions kept getting bigger. Some former players even argued Brunson had already earned a place among the greatest Knicks ever. Considering the legends who have worn that jersey over the decades, that statement carried enormous weight. But another discussion was beginning to take over basketball shows everywhere. It wasn't about where Brunson ranked in Knicks history anymore. People were starting to compare his mentality to some of the most feared closers the NBA has ever seen, and those comparisons would take this conversation to an entirely different level. Those comparisons weren't being made because Brunson scored a lot of points. They were being made because of the way he thought when everything was on the line. Several former players said the greatest closers all share one thing in common. Pressure doesn't make them panic, it makes them sharper. And during this championship run, Brunson looked completely comfortable carrying that responsibility every single night. One former player compared his fourth-quarter mentality to Kobe Bryant's, not because they played the same style, but because both believed the next shot was going in, no matter what happened earlier in the game. Brunson could miss several attempts, yet once the final minutes arrived, his confidence never disappeared. Instead of avoiding the spotlight, he demanded it. Time after time, the Knicks cleared the floor, gave him the ball, and trusted him to deliver. More often than not, he did exactly that. What makes Brunson so difficult to defend isn't one signature move. It's the number of different ways he can reach the same spot. Defenders expect him to drive left, so he changes direction. They prepare for a layup, and he floats the ball softly over their fingertips. They anticipate a quick pull-up, but he slows down just enough to throw off their timing. Everything looks simple until you're the one trying to stop it. That's why so many analysts described his game as a masterclass in fundamentals rather than athletic gifts. Another point that kept coming up was his size. Standing around 6 feet tall, Brunson doesn't fit the image of the superstar many people expect to lead a championship team. In today's NBA, where elite players often tower over defenders with incredible length and athleticism, Brunson found another path. He used leverage, balance, footwork, and one of the smartest basketball minds in the league. Every possession became proof that intelligence can be just as dangerous as raw talent. Former coaches also praised something fans rarely notice. Brunson never rushes. He understands angles better than almost anyone in basketball. His low center of gravity lets him absorb contact without losing balance, while his patience forces defenders into uncomfortable positions. By the time they react, he's already releasing another soft finish off the glass, or another perfectly timed jumper. It's a skill that can't be measured by vertical leap or sprint speed, yet it changes games just as much. Then came the reaction that probably meant the most. People in New York weren't simply celebrating another championship, they were celebrating the return of belief. Fans who had waited more than half a century finally watched someone embrace the city's pressure instead of running from it. Arena legends talked about the electricity returning to Madison Square Garden. Former Knicks praised the culture Brunson had helped rebuild. Even longtime critics admitted he had earned every bit of the respect coming his way. But perhaps the biggest statement wasn't about his finals MVP, his 45-point masterpiece, or even ending a 53-year drought. It was the growing belief that Jalen Brunson had already secured a place among the greatest players ever to wear a Knicks jersey, and the final reactions made that argument even stronger. By the time the celebrations reached their peak, the conversation had grown much bigger than one championship. Analysts were no longer asking whether Jalen Brunson belonged among the NBA's elite. Instead, they were debating where this incredible run placed him in Knicks history. For a franchise filled with legendary names, that wasn't a discussion anyone expected to have so quickly. Yet after leading New York to its first title in 53 years, ignoring his place in that conversation had become impossible. Many former players pointed to something Brunson has done throughout his entire basketball journey. Winning has followed him everywhere. He won in high school. He won at Villanova. Now he had climbed to the top of the NBA. That consistency wasn't viewed as luck. It was proof that certain players simply know how to raise the level of everyone around them. Coaches can draw plays and teammates can make shots, but every championship team needs someone who refuses to accept defeat. Brunson became that player for the Knicks. Several basketball minds also highlighted his intelligence. While defenders focused on his size, Brunson quietly controlled games with decisions that often went unnoticed. He understood when to slow the pace and when to attack. He recognized mismatches before they developed. Even against taller, stronger defenders, he constantly found new angles to score. His ability to play under control allowed the entire offense to stay composed during the biggest possessions of the finals. Another fascinating point involved the advantage of being left-handed. Former players explained that most defenders spend their careers guarding right-handed scorers. Brunson's rhythm feels completely different. His footwork, timing, and finishing angles force defenders to adjust in ways they aren't used to. Combine that with his incredible touch around the basket, and suddenly every drive becomes difficult to predict. What appears simple from the stands becomes incredibly frustrating for the defender trying to stop him. Praise even came from people who knew Brunson long before he became a superstar. They spoke about his work ethic, his character, and the discipline his family helped build from a young age. Those close to him said nothing about this championship surprised them because they had watched him prepare for moments like these his entire life. According to them, the talent was always there, but his willingness to improve every single year is what separated him from everyone else. Perhaps the most meaningful reaction came from the city itself. Madison Square Garden once again felt alive. Fans who had spent decades waiting for another championship finally had a new face to celebrate. Some even compared Brunson's impact on New York basketball to what Derek Jeter meant for New York baseball. Whether people agree with that comparison or not, it shows just how deeply this championship connected with the city's sports culture. One unforgettable postseason transformed Jalen Brunson from an all-star into a legend. He silenced every doubt about small guards leading championship teams, earned the respect of former players across the league, and delivered the title Knicks fans had dreamed about for more than half a century. Most importantly, he proved that greatness isn't measured by height or athleticism. It's measured by heart, leadership, and the ability to rise when everything is on the line. Jalen Brunson didn't just end a 53-year championship drought. He reshaped the Knicks' future and earned the respect of the entire basketball world. Do you think he's already the greatest Knick of all time? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.